Hey, everybody, what is going on out there? Jeff Jacklich here, right here. Brent Abel somewhere,
Right here.
whatever. We're like here. He's either here or he's here.
I'm here. I'm right here.
Something like that. Anyway, goldballhunting.com. Here we go again because we just can't help ourselves. We can't stop. No theory, just experience, boots on the ground experience here. If you want the real stuff, this is where you tune into. This is the spot. So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played on the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for the victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Jeff Jacklich, and along with Brent Abel, my partner, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. Brenny, what's happening down there in Palm Springs?
God. Well, Jeff, thank you very much. What's down? I'm down here actually in Rancho Mirage. Palm Springs is kind of that way a little bit.
No technicalities.
Mission Hills Country Club. Another day down here. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. Today's Monday. We're recording on Monday.
We're feeling, it might rain tomorrow.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
It's Monday when we're recording, but it's actually being released tomorrow, Tuesday.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So the next day, Wednesday, it's supposed to rain. I know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you guys, it's raining like all the time, so I would understand.
Leave a comment below right now, just on that portion. Okay.
That's right. I'm doing great. Yeah, we got the Crable Masters here this week.
Yeah.
And God, just some unbelievable tennis, man. I mean,
awesome. How's the grass looking after a week ago?
It's looking fine. You know what they did is last week, after they had the national grass courts here, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Then they shifted them over, right? They go from 4.
Yeah, they moved them over one court. Yeah.
They shift them over, so there's only 3 courts. And so, yeah, I mean, they've been laying fallow for a week, and they're in great shape. They're just
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Just grows back.
Yeah, that's right.
Unlike this.
Well, that's right. Well, yours would grow back. Well, maybe not. Maybe the dome.
Not here in this area.
No, I see.
Not so much.
So that's a permanent patch. That's a permanent. We got to get guys off the baseline. We got to get them in a little bit. I mean, like right there, that's just way too much baseline stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're, by the way, if you're on iTunes or Stitcher, you're missing out. Go over to the YouTube channel and have some more fun. Anyway, no, all's good. Yeah. What's on your mind today?
Well, today in our continuing, thread here on experiences and things that changed as we went along, and so for me, I'm gonna.
By the way, in yesterday's recording, there's some kind of something that's going on with your microphone that's going clickety clackety quite a bit.
Okay, well, let's get this off. Maybe it's going against the collar. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh man, there he goes. He's getting naked, folks. You might want to get off YouTube right now.
Avert your eyes. I can't unsee that, Jeff.
That's right. God, I'm damaged for the rest of my life.
Damn it. How's that? Hopefully that's better.
No, that's good. That's good. So as you were saying,
whatever it takes here to get the job done. So today I'm gonna go through a little bit of my return to competition in 2012. At it was the Babolat.
Yeah.
It was the main sponsor of the event there at Mission Hills, and kind of just for me that entry back into competition at age 52 and that's another reason why I kind of picked that as we're going through this week, is because it's senior tennis. It's about senior tennis. I've got lots of other experiences, juniors and college and playing the tour and blah, blah, blah. But what we're focused on here is the senior journey. And so for me, jumping back into the waters, the competitive waters, in the senior journey was end of January 2012. At age 52, jumped back in. I didn't know how fit I needed to be. I didn't.
Did you ever play? Did you play 35s at all, or 40s, or that stuff? No, you went straight from.
I played in '96. I played the 35s team. John Sutter put a team together, and we went down to Arizona and played the national team event.
The intersectional thing, yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun. I think I won all my singles matches and 2 out of 3 doubles matches, I think. So I had a really good week. It was nice, but even there, I had these, lost the second set when it was like, there's no way I should have lost. It was just like, just take it easy, guys. No competition. I'm going to work this out. So coming into this, I definitely didn't have, 0 tournament matches under my belt. I had practice matches under my belt, but again, that's just not the same animal when you get down to it. And really, I was so unprepared, mentally and physically, both sides. Definitely, I wasn't. Well, actually, that's not true. I should just, mentally and physically, both sides. I was really unprepared. And the mental side of it was just, there's just no way to actually anticipate what I went through during that first match. I played Chris Dunk, former Cal All-American, at Cal. I think he was 110 in the world at one time. I think he and Marty Davis, while they were at Cal, were number 11 in the world in doubles. So he's an okay player, So welcome to the first round.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. Nice draw. And, all you got to do, Jeff, just, extra $20 with your entry fee typically gets you a good draw. Maybe that's one thing you don't know about. Yeah.
I guess I should have made it 25.
Anyway, all right. So you play Chris Dunk. Bad draw.
I played Chris first round, and and on the way out to the court, I know who he is. He doesn't know me, and so we're talking, and we start chatting about our tennis history a little bit. So by the time we get to the court, he also realizes though that this might be a bit of a tussle, because we're exchanging. I traveled with so and so. Yeah, I was with him in Asia and blah blah blah. So now he knows that he doesn't get a cruiser first round. And so we beat the heck out of each other for about 2 hours, 45 minutes, 2 sets, 7-5, 7-6. I lost the match. And it was one of those things where even in the middle of it, we were kind of laughing at each other, changing sides of the court, just because we were just beating the tar out of each other. I'd break him and then he'd break me back. And it was just this, for me, this emotional roller coaster. We're watching the match, the next bracket in the draw next to us, on the court next to us, and we're both looking over there going, really? We got this draw? We could have had one of those guys? Right? But that wasn't the day. So for me, emotionally, it was just getting through all of my old, college and tour emotions and all that baggage that I brought with me. I didn't know I brought it with me, but as I was playing this match, I realized I brought all this baggage with me that was totally unnecessary. Unnecessary at the moment, and a bigger epiphany was unnecessary when I was 24. And I had that epiphany then, my career might have been different. Right?
That's great. That's great.
But I went through it. Every changeover, I just would, it was a hot day, there in Palm Desert, and put the towel over my head, and I was really trying to close off the world and just try and deal with all this emotion that was coming up, and trying to shed it, while I'm playing Chris. I'm actually having this experience while I'm doing this. So, but I kind of went with it. I didn't fight it. I was just like, okay, I don't need that. I don't need this. And it was just this baggage. It was like watching the turnstile at an airport, watching the baggage just come off. It's like, holy crap, this is going to be a day. So part of the physical exhaustion I felt was the emotional stress that I was alleviating myself of while I'm playing this match. So,
Right. Yeah.
So that was just this huge, at the end of the match, physically, both of us were just completely spent, and I know part of it for me, a major part of it for me was the emotional side of it for me, getting through that. And so physically, had I won the match, I probably would have lost the next round no matter who I played, just because physically I was just so spent. My hip flexors were just gone by the next day, serving and volleying, just doing what I normally do, right? So getting through that, so it took me 2 days to kind of recover from this experience. So it was a good thing I didn't have to play, because just the next 2 days I was just mentally going through the match, replaying certain parts of it in my head and coming up with these little things that I was letting go of as I was doing it. And physically, I was just a wreck. I mean, I was just a wreck. So, so it really gave me a good baseline, though. It gave me a real reality check as to what it's going to take, Jeff. Where am I now, and what's it going to take for me to be in the hunt, to actually be one of the players that nobody wants to play first round or any round. And so 3 weeks later was the Worlds in San Diego that year in 2012. The ITF Worlds were in San Diego. And so I thought, hey, that's my backyard, close enough. So I had 3 more weeks then to prepare physically. So did that. And then mentally, I had shed all this stuff. So at the Worlds, I went 3 rounds, just played singles, went 3 rounds. And so I felt pretty good about that. So there was good progress there. Physically felt good every day, not perfect, but I was definitely better 3 weeks later after the Babolat. So for me, and then that year turned out to, by the end of the year, that's when John Sutter called, and all I did was play doubles, because that's the only time I had to train, was for doubles. I didn't have time to do both singles and dubs. So John and I won all 3 Cat 2s, West Coast Cat 2s that year: Berkeley, Marin, and the Pacific Southwest in Newport Beach. So I took that, that first match with Chris and then the Worlds, and just kind of ran with it. And I had just a clear understanding of what fitness is required to actually do this and be competitive and be in the hunt, and mentally as well, really getting clear, and getting my ego out of the way, which was for me, which was the big epiphany also, was that, the less ego and pride I play with, the more fiercely I'm capable of competing, just being in the moment and being present tense. So I just wanted to share that experience with everybody out there, that you don't really know what it's going to be like. You can't really anticipate fully what's going to be required of you until you step into the fray, and you walk through, you step through the veil, walk through, you check in, and you go play that first match. You can do all the work, and it will all pay off. Definitely. Any and all work you do will pay off, but you just won't know to what level or where the weak spots are and what you've done and everything, until you actually get in there and trade punches with somebody. It's just, so anyway, I wanted to share that today
good.
with this.
No, it's
this
good.
part
I
of the
mean,
journey.
look, and you're coming from a place where you'd already played at top level as a junior, you played top level as a college, and you played some on the tour. And and plus you'd also played, then after that, you'd also played NorCal Open Men's, which was
Right.
a high level as well. So you came from a place when you got into the senior thing when you were 52, where sure there'd been a gap of time, but even so, all the stuff you'd done before it's not like riding a bike. It's not like, okay,
I wish.
let's just
I
pedal
wish.
this thing. Yeah. So for you guys who either are trying to, let's put it this way, um, for you guys who are thinking about playing tournaments, that or if you've taken a long break between tournaments, or if you're trying to cherry pick, well, I'm going to play this one, and then I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to play that one, and then I'll try to get ready. The only way that you can do it is to go out there and get, which is the fifth pillar, which is to get experiences, plural. That's the only way that you can figure
Right.
out where you're at emotionally with this stuff. What baggage you maybe have to leave at home and just
Yeah.
kind of forget about it, and kind of come to your own realization. I mean, as you were talking, I was sort of having this, God, I remember playing the Bill Steggy thing, when I first started playing tournaments, which was just horrific. I mean, I don't think you had to go through this, but I played a guy, I used to play in practice all the time, and we were pretty darn close. And I played him in a tournament, and I just freaked out. I mean, I was total panic central, lost love and love. And, and even he came up to me, like during the match and afterwards going, "What's the matter with you?" Going, God, I wish I knew.
Right.
But I had to actually get back in the car, and, before I started up the engine and drove home, I looked in the mirror and said, "Man, I guess you have a decision to make here. Are you going to continue to do this, or are you going to figure it out?" And I said, "Well, I got to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, other than let me take a look at the calendar." And I looked at the tournament schedule. I looked at my calendar, and I just started shoving them in there. I said, "Look, it
Right.
can't be worse than this." And
Right.
so, but that's the thing. I mean, like by the time that you and John got together, by mid of that year, the calendar
Yeah.
year, you'd had enough experiences where where you just started to settle down.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so for you guys who are either, kind of in the fray right now, and one of the things that you do on a consistent basis is, shall we say, get a little tight, um, a little tight out there, especially during close matches.
Little clenched.
Let's not go there. But anyway, yeah, if that's the deal, then look, you're normal. That's just natural,
Yeah.
instinctive human behavior. But you got to get through it. And the only way to get through it is you can't think to yourself, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to work in the ball machine and I'm going to really get my forehand going great, or I'm really going to hit, 75 serves every day and really get that thing going.
Right.
Look, there's definitely a place in terms of, working on technique. So you just get a little more confident with it. But if you want to break through the nerves, you got to play as many matches that count as you possibly can. And for me, that was before we had league, so I was playing as many tournaments. I remember Mr. Stowe, I finally asked him, well, what should I do, in terms, he said, just play a lot of sets. Just don't worry about it. Well, should I do some running? He goes, God dang it. All right, if you want to jump rope a little bit, fine. That's fine.
Right.
But just play a lot of sets, right?
Play.
And make them count. I mean, don't be working on stuff. Don't be thinking about technique. Don't be doing this. Don't be that. Just play sets, and you're going to break through the nerves. And for me, that was the only way that I did it. And still for me now, like because I typically will play from January through June in terms of, a steady diet of tournaments in those first 6 months. But then typically last few years I haven't, because I've been fortunate enough to make the USA World Cup team. So I felt like, well, I better not just stop in June and then like 2 days before the Worlds go, yeah, let's go ahead. So I keep playing, but usually what I do is I don't totally shut it down after that, which for me has been the hard courts in Irvine. But I'll cut back, right? I'll cut back from playing a ton to maybe every other day, something like that. But the first tournament in January, man, I got a little thing right there. I can't quite swallow too well. Gulperino, oh, I'm not sure I want to actually go through this ball. So
Yeah.
it takes me every year, in that first
Yeah.
tournament, it takes me a couple of rounds to kind of go, stop it. Just stop it. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen to you here? Huh? You lose a tennis match. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh. Right.
Yeah. Oh, God. They
Right.
might kick you out of California. Well, don't get me started on that, because that actually
Probably not.
I wouldn't mind doing that. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
but that you got to get through that moment of, for lack of a better term, it just doesn't matter. And so when you hit that emotional moment where things are starting to contract,
yeah,
including mentally, we're starting to contract, and we kind of do fight or flight. You have to make a new decision, and you just can't care what the outcome is. You just can't be outcome oriented. That if I win this match, that means I made the right decision. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And that's
look,
because
to me, the great analogy is baseball hitters. I mean, the best hitters in the history are failing 2/3 of the time.
right.
And so, but fortunately for them, I mean, they're now playing 162 games a year. So if you're a regular, everyday player, you're getting over 500 or 600 at bats.
Right.
And so it comes pretty apparent to you, like, I obviously can't bat 1,000.
Right.
That's not going to happen. It's just,
right.
and it's the same thing with tennis. And the only way the reason I bring up baseball hitters is they get so many at bats that they just stop choking, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with tennis.
You trust your training. You trust what the work you've put into it. Now we're playing games now, and that's when you have to make that adjustment in your head and trust what you do. And then we'll just see how it turns out. You're focused, and you're gonna, it doesn't, when I say that, when I say, we're just gonna see how it turns out, it doesn't mean that we're taking a laissez-faire attitude. You're still focused. We're working hard in the match. We're doing all the things we've trained to do, and we're just going to stay in that mode and see how it works out. And then we can make some honest adjustments then after a match is over. But to have the expectation that you're going to bat 1,000 your career is just not right. The expectation is just unachievable and just undesirable, really. I mean, do we want to hit the ball every time we get up to bat? Of course we do. But
hey, you look at a tournament, and if there's a full round, full 64 draw, one guy wins all of his matches, and the other 63 guys lose at some point.
Right.
So that's rough, man. You think about it.
Right.
You got
half the guys are gone. Half the guys are gone on day one.
That's right.
Bye-bye.
That's right. That's exactly right. But
and so with that being said, this is one of the things that Sherman and I, in the earlier part of my career, that we really paid attention to, and I still to this day carry it with me when I go into a first round match, and that is, I work my butt off to win my first round match, because you have a whole different sense of self-worth, self-being, confidence, all of that when you get to come back the next day. You that night you go have dinner someplace in this great town if you're in Palm Desert, and then the next morning you wake up and you're focused and you have your routine and you take a shower and your breakfast and you blah blah blah, and you go through thing and you check in the next day for your match, and guess what? Half the other guys are not playing today. And there's a certain emotional confidence building process that happens, and it's kind of intangible. It's not something you can just say, oh, it's this whole experience that actually brings that to fruition the next day. And so that was something very early on with Sherm, as I was starting to really achieve in the men's open in NorCal, that became very apparent that day one, listen, if I had to stay out there till midnight tomorrow night, I'll do it to win a match. and so I can come back the next day, because it's just, you walk out to the place just a little taller, chest out just a little bit more, and just from getting through that first round is a big deal.
Yeah. Well, listen, you can't get through the first round if you don't enter the tournament. So you gotta look at the tournament schedule, guys, and you got to start looking, well, what can I realistically do here? And look, I get it. A lot of people are working, a lot of people are raising families, and there's limited time.
Yeah.
So you got to find out, well, what can you actually do? And if you're limited in terms of those experiences in tournaments, then the next best thing is, league matches where you're not being told by your teammates, look, man, don't win too big against this guy, because we don't want you to win like 0-0, because then you'll be gone. You'll be going to the next team. So
Right.
kind of dial it back. And I'm thinking, now, is this a great recipe for
improvement, right?
Not becoming a better confident tennis
Right.
player.
Right.
So, but if you can look at league matches, and I don't play many, but I do play some league matches where, for me, it's kind of like and there is a little bit of pressure there in the league stuff, because you do have teammates and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you can use that experience to kind of settle down and not be bringing all the extra baggage that maybe a teammate's, putting on you, then great. And then short of that, if you can't do that, then look, go play some practice matches. Stop practicing so doggone much. Stop, thinking that you gotta just grind and perfect stroke technique until you get to a point, then I'll go play a match.
Right.
Sorry. It doesn't work that way. You can grind and grind and grind, and then you finally go play a match once every 2 years. El Chocarini. Hello, Betty.
Chocarini.
Yes.
That's an Italian term.
It is. Yeah. So, but play some practice sets, just like Mr. So told me. And I mean, I remember back in the day, guys would play for, soda, a Coke. We'll play for a Coke. Okay. Well, maybe today we play for some sparkling water,
Ooh, that's right.
some Calistoga water. I don't know. Make it.
I don't know. I'm still going to be motivated more by give me a cold one at the end of this deal.
Okay, well, maybe that's maybe a play for the beers. All right, good stuff, Jeff. That's cool. Guys, listen, free coaching call that we're still offering. It's a private call. The three of us get in the phone, and let's just chat about the one thing in your game right now that, if you spent the next 30, 45, 60 days on it, it could make a significant difference in the results. Yeah, let's talk about results. Sorry, but results are important, right? So, but too often we get distracted with all this other stuff out there, and we never really settle in on one thing that'll help us get the result that we want. Just go over to goalballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, click the button. You get access to our online calendar scheduler. You get to pick a date and time that works best for your own personal schedule. And again, the three of us, you, me, and Jeff, we get on the phone. It's a private conversation. We don't record it. We don't work you over in there and, throw it out there on the interwebs and go, ha ha. We're not.
We won't talk about it here.
No. In fact, we'll give you some good stuff. So jump on that call before we decide to pull the plug on these free coaching calls. Jeff, what do we want to find folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes, Stitcher, rate and review. Goldballhunting.com. It is the place to be.
That's what I've heard. That's cool. All right, man. Guys, get out there today. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.